get into it. All we gotta do, but this the only thing, the main thing. Keep the main thing, the main thing. All right, so we're on page 37. Last time. So what's happened so far? The count asked him to stay a month, but he's coming to the conclusion and the point that he's a prisoner. The count said you can go any door that's not locked. Nearly all the doors are locked. He's been around and moving just in that third, and he's come to the point like, oh, it's just him and the count in this entire castle. There's no servants. So, there's another thing. I don't have good signal here. But, oh well. So, there's the count. It's just him and the count. Almost all the doors are locked. There's no servants. And the count said, he asked him to stay a month, but he was like, I'm not taking any other answer. No refusal. Let me see how he even said that. I desire it much, nay. I would take no refusal. And then what else? Oh no. Damn. I ran out of water. Oh. That is a shocker. Yeah. You know, like today's just not my day. We've had two. That was one. Found out I just ran out of water. And then, bro, the emails, bro. Not. Oh yeah. Look. See, it was windy outside. I had to be a nerd. I had to be a geek. So the count said, write 3 letters. Well, he didn't tell him to write 3 letters. He only gave him 3 pieces of paper, and they were all thin pieces of paper. And so he said, he basically said, you better not mention nothing else. You only better talk about business. Just let your people know that you're alive. And you're going to be staying here a month. And he gave him the 3 pieces of paper, and he said they were so thin, and the way that the count asked him this and the third, he could tell that if he wrote anything else inside the letters, then the count was going to read it. So he better, you know what I'm saying, not say anything crazy. But so he has to stay here for a month now. And then the last of the, things that happened that, really just make, because, it's progressively getting, reality is setting in, and it's progressively getting more weirder. So the last thing he saw was the count climbing along the wall of the castle, and so now he's there. All right. For now, feeling as though my brains were unhinged, or as if the shock had come, which must end in its undoing, I turned to my diary for repose. The habit of entering accurately must help to soothe me. The Count's mysterious warning frightened me at the time. It frightens me more now when I think of it, for in future, he has a fearful hold upon me. I shall fear to doubt what he may say. When I had written in my diary and had fortunately replaced the book and pen in my pocket, I felt sleepy. The Count's warning came into my mind, but I took a pleasure in disobeying it. The sense of sleep was upon me, and with it the obstinacy which sleep brings as outrider. The soft moonlight soothed, and the wide expanse without gave a sense of freedom which refreshed me. I determined not to return tonight to the gloom-haunted rooms, but to sleep here where, of old, ladies had sat and sung and lived sweet lives, whilst their gentle breasts were sad for their menfolk, away in the midst of remorseless wars. I drew a great couch out of its place near the corner so that as I lay, I could look at the lovely view to east and south. And unthinking of and uncaring for the dust, I composed myself for sleep. I suppose I must have fallen asleep. I hope so, but I fear, for all that followed was startlingly real. So real that now sitting here in the broad, full sunlight of the morning, I cannot in the least believe that it was all sleep. I was not alone. The room was the same, unchanged in any way since I came into it. I could see along the floor in the brilliant moonlight my own footsteps, marked where I had disturbed the long accumulation of dust. In the moonlight opposite me were three young women, ladies by their dress and manner. I thought at the time that I must be dreaming when I saw them, for though the moonlight was behind them, they threw no shadow on the floor. I thought at the time I must be dreaming, for when I saw them, the moonlight behind them, they drew no shadow on the floor. They came close to me and looked at me for some time, and then whispered together. Two were dark and had high aquiline noses, like the Count, and great dark piercing eyes that seemed to be almost red when contrasted with the pale yellow moon. The other was fair as can be, with great wavy masses of golden hair and eyes like pale sapphires. I seemed somehow to know her face, and to know it in connection with some dreamy fear, but I could not recollect at the moment how or where. All three had brilliant white teeth that shone like pearls against the ruby of their voluptuous lips. There was something about them that made me uneasy, some longing, and at the time, some deadly fear. I felt it in my heart, a wicked, burning desire. I felt in my heart a wicked, burning desire that they would kiss me with those red lips. It is not good to note this down, lest someday it should meet Mina's eyes and cause her pain. But it is the truth. They whispered together, and then they all three laughed, such a silvery, musical laugh, but as hard as though the sound never could have come through the softness of human lips. It was like the intolerable tingling sweetness of water glasses when played on a cunning hand. The fair girl shook her head coquettishly, and the other two urged her on. One said, Go on. You are first, and we shall follow. Yours is the right to begin, the other added. He is young and strong. There are kisses for us all. I lay quiet, looking out under my eyelashes in an agony of delightful anticipation. The fair girl advanced and bent over me till I could feel the movement of her breath upon me. Sweet. It was, in one sense, honey sweet, and sent the same tingling through the nerves as her voice, but with a bitter underlying the sweet, a bitter offensiveness as one smells in blood. I was afraid to raise my eyelids, but looked out and saw perfectly under the lashes. The girl went on her knees and bent over me, simply gloating. There was a deliberate voluptuousness which was both thrilling and repulsive, and as she arched her neck, she actually licked her lips like an animal, till I could see in the moonlight the moisture shining on the scarlet lips and on the red tongue as it lapped the white, sharp teeth. Lower and lower went her head as the lips went below the range of my mouth and chin and seemed to... Okay. Lower and lower went her head as the lips went below the range of my mouth and chin and seemed about to fasten on my throat. Then she paused and I could hear the churning sound of her tongue as it licked her teeth and lips, and I could feel the hot breath on my neck. Then the skin of my throat began to tingle as one flesh does when the hand that is to tickle it approaches nearer, nearer. I could feel the soft, shivering touch of the lips on the super sensitive skin of my throat and the hard dents of two sharp teeth just touching and pausing there. I closed my eyes in a luxurious ecstasy and waited with beating heart. But at that instant, another sensation swept through me quick as lightning. I was conscious of the presence of the Count and of his being as if lapped in a storm or fury. As my eyes opened involuntarily, I saw his strong hand grasp the slender neck of the fair woman and with giant's paw draw it back. The blue eyes transformed with fury, the white teeth champing with rage, and the fair cheeks blazing with passion. But the Count, never did I imagine such wrath and fury, even to the demons of the pit. His eyes were positively blazing. The red light in them was lurid, as if the flames of hell fire blazed behind them. His face was deathly pale, and the lines of it were hard like drawn wires. The thick eyebrows that met over the nose now seemed like a heaving bar of white-hot metal. With a fierce sweep of his arm, he hurled the woman from him and then motioned to the others, as though he were beating them back. It was the same imperious gesture that I had seen used to the wolves. All right. Count Dracula popped up. He ain't fucking with this shit. He said, get the fuck back. All right. So he grabbed her by the neck and basically threw her around. In a voice which, though low and almost in a whisper, seemed to cut through the air and then ring around the room, he said, how dare you touch him, any of you? How dare you cast eyes on him when I had forbidden it? Back, I tell you all, this man belongs to me. Beware how you meddle with him, or you'll have to deal with me. The fair girl, with a laugh of ribald coquetry, turned to answer him. You yourself never loved. You never loved. On this, the other woman joined, and such a mirthless, hard, soulless laughter rang through the room that it almost made me faint to hear. It seemed like the pleasure of fiends. Then the Count turned, after looking at my face attentively, and said in a soft whisper, yes, I too can love. You yourselves can tell it from the past. Is it not so? Well, now I promise you that when I am done with him, you shall kiss him at your will. Now go. Go. I must awaken him, for there is work to be done. Are we to have nothing tonight? Said one of them, with a low laugh, as she pointed to the bag which had thrown upon the floor, and which moved as though there was some living thing within it. For answer, he nodded his head. Okay. Are we to have nothing tonight? Said one, and which moved as though there was some living thing within it. For answer, he nodded his head. One of the women jumped forward and opened it. If my ears did not deceive me, there was a gasp and a low wail, as of a half-smothered child. The women closed round whilst I was aghast with horror. But as I looked, they disappeared, and with them the dreadful bag. There was no door near them, and they could not have passed me without my noticing. They simply seemed to fade into the rays of the moonlight, and pass out through the window, for I could see outside the dim, shadowy forms for a moment before they entirely faded away. Then the horror overcame me, and I sank down unconscious. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Bro, my signal not good right here. My signal not good right here. I'll go back and watch the live and see where it kind of like went out at. But so basically, he had a dream. That there's these three women, and one of the women comes over to him, and she's like right at his neck, and then Count Dracula comes and throws her off of him, and after that, they're like, well, are we going to eat anything tonight? And from what he can gather and what he can tell, then from what he can gather and what he can tell, it's a kid. He said it sounded like a half smothered child was in the bag. And the girls grabbed the bag and then left. Faded into the moonlight. The girls grabbed the bag and faded into the moonlight. All right. I think this is a good place to stop. Chapter 4. I know exactly where I'm at. This is a good place to, at least pause for today. You know how, like, things have a climax? This is the beginning of the book. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder, what's the climax? What's the turning point? How does this, really start to really come to unfold? Because he's not addressing anything. He's just experiencing stuff. He's not addressing anything. He's just experiencing stuff. And he's coming to the realizations of what's happening here. But he's not addressing anything. He doesn't want to say too much. How many pages are in here? Damn. 379. I've read 40. 379, I've read 40. Damn. I'm going to have to count how many days there are left in this month. Well, it shouldn't be that fucking hard. You got 28 days. Today's the 16th. Damn, we only got 12 days left in the month. And I got to read 300 pages. Hey, yo. Hold on. Well, if I read, no, you got to read more than 12 pages a day. Hold on. Let me see. 12 times 12 would be 144. So then if you double that, that's 288. That's close. And then you need actually 288 plus another 12. Okay. So that's 24 pages a day? Roughly. Gotta read roughly 24 to 25 pages a day. That shouldn't be too crazy. But yeah, it's so windy, bro. And then, like, the cop just, whatchamacallit? The cop rode past, but the cop he not even parked, like, regularly. Like, he not parking a parking spot. So it's like, it just make you sit there and think and wonder, like, do you get hot? Like, how much time? Because they supposed to be having their cameras on and stuff. How much time do you get to just sit and just sit? If the cop is having a boring day, then I guess that makes things okay. If the cops have nothing to do but to sit around at the park and be posted up, that means the city must be safe. Gotham is safe. I'm fucking with this book though. I'm fucking with this book. Bailey done went off and ran and played. You see these sentences? You see, I don't even know what these words mean. Nobody knows what it means. It's provocative. This is there. I'm gonna send me words that were today that I did not know. And like I used to whatchamacallit, when I used to read, I used to like, well, if I owned this book, I would underline the words and I would say, okay, this is what this word means. If I owned this book, I would underline the words and say, this is what this word means, and I would write in it and I would highlight certain stuff. Like there's been like, just even certain things of like the phrasing for certain things. But ribald, RIBALD, I don't know what that means. That was followed by the word coquetry. COQUETRY. No, those two words are right next to each other. Shit like that will fuck you up. You be like, I don't know what this word means. You know, you be like, you trying to use context clues. You don't know this word means or the word after it. I don't know what neither one of those. The word mirthless, MIRTHLESS, is easy to read, like mirthless. It's easy to read. I have no idea what that means. And that's been mentioned a couple times in this book. That's 3 words on 1 page. Languorous, LANGUOROUS. Languorous. I have no idea what that word means. But they say this is how you increase your vocabulary. So actually, I'm doing myself a slight disservice by not trying to figure out what these words means. Bro, you guys say, well, you got your phone, just Google it. But to sit here, like, I'm trying to read this, or I need a dictionary to read this. Are you trying to know what voluptuous means? Yeah, man. I wish and then right here, he thought they was gonna kiss him for real. He thought they was gonna kiss him for real. I mean, it's like if I was to rewrite this book, I would have made them. They could have, you know how like if they're gonna bite him and do whatever to him, whatever, right? Whatever. I'm not sure how it goes because sometimes apparently the lore with the vampire is they can either bite you and you're done, or they can bite you and turn you into a vampire. Depending on who it is, I'm like they could at least, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Made it interesting for him. If I was writing this, she would have did a little, yeah, you know what I'm saying? She would have had that nigga excited. That nigga excited over a fucking kiss. Fuck that. If I was writing this book, she would at least, you know what I'm saying? She would at least got him riled up, got his blood pumping. For real, for real. Got his blood pumping all up. And then she'd be like, she's like, is that a flashlight in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? Chapter 4 is only 13 pages long. $20 times 12 is $240. I'm going to have to read at least 2 chapters. Minimum. But if I would like to stay on pace, I'm going to have to read about 30 chapters. 30 times 10. Bro. $30 times 10 is 300. Because you don't have that many days left in the month. So I'm going to have to read chapters 4 through 6, which is 41, 76 minus 41, 35 pages. All right. Because you know, like, a movie, you finish a movie in a day. But a book, depending on who you are, where you are, what you're doing, how fast, all this other stuff, all of those, you might not finish it in a day. So what I will say, I'm going to get gas. I'm going to find a place with better signal. And I'm going to read. The goal for today is to bare minimum chapter 4, 5, and 6. Now we'll have a Dracula audiobook. There may already be a Dracula audiobook. But this one gonna be the ghetto version. It'll be the ghetto Dracula. Well, I'm also gonna talk about how the parts that I would change.
Will fight and I will win. So call my guy, Ryan Greathouse, and his team of attorneys at Greathouse Trial Law at 404-800-HELP. That's 404-800-4357 or online at ATLTrialLaw.com.
I can't believe you scored tickets for nothing at that
I need to
After
figure
spending so
out
much at T-Mobile, I thought, ¿por qué no darnos un gusto?
the brand for this charger, bro. Best charger, hands
Wow,
down.
that's a nice picture.
The S25 takes awesome selfies.
Tag me and I'll follow you. Get a new Samsung Galaxy S25 phone with Galaxy AI at T.
At some point we need to check on Caesar. Caesar still lives.